A new day has dawned in one of the world's most important ecosystems. Here, the ever-changing natural landscape creates a setting of rare beauty, imparting a sense of peace and tranquility. Here, in the dense forest, on the rocks, clearings and grasslands, and even close to the small communities, the eternal dance of life and death is played out. One animal dies, making way for another to survive. Everything in nature happens for a purpose. Everything serves the sensitive mechanisms that are responsible for maintaining its balance. Welcome to the kingdom of the raptors, one of their last refuges in Europe, where they can live and reproduce undisturbed. The Dadia Lefkimi Soufli Forest National Park was one of the first areas of particular ecological interest in Greece to be declared a protected area. Here, nature and man have created an area of high biodiversity, a Mediterranean ecosystem where different flora and fauna species of the Balkan Peninsula, Europe and Asia coexist. The national park conserves a large number of threatened species, which makes it one of the most important protected areas on a national, European and international level.
Το Εθνικό Πάρκο του Δάσους Δαδιάς Λευκήμη Σουφλίου θεωρείται μοναδικό σε παγκόσμιο επίπεδο για την υψηλή του βιοποικιλότητα. Εδώ συνυπάρχει ένας μεγάλος αριθμός ειδών σε μια πολύ μικρή περιοχή. 4 παράγοντες διαμόρφωσαν αυτήν την υψηλή βιοποικιλότητα. Η γεωγραφική θέση της περιοχής στο σταυροδρόμι 3 υπήρων, το μεταβατικό κλίμα από μεσογειακό σε υπηρωτικό, η μεγάλη ποικιλία εδαφικών τύπων και η έντονη ανθρώπινη παρουσία τα τελευταία 2.000 χρόνια. Αυτό δημιούργησε ένα μοσαϊκό διαφορετικών τύπων ενδιαιτημάτων.
Situated in the heart of Evros, the national park's 42,800 hectares occupy a geographic position of particular value. It lies at the crossroads of 3 continents, Europe, Asia and Africa, and is traversed by the easternmost migration route of a large number of birds. The national park is internationally recognized as one of the few areas in Europe where so many different species of raptors are to be found. 36 out of the 39 species of diurnal birds of prey in Europe inhabit the area, many of which have been given special protection status on a European and global level. The park has another unique feature. It is home to 3 of the 4 different species of European vultures. The griffon vulture, the Egyptian vulture, and the black vulture, the park's most distinctive species, whose sole breeding colony in the Balkans is conserved in this area.
Ο μαυρόγυπας, το μεγαλύτερο πτηνό σε Ευρώπη και Ασία, είναι το έμβλημα του Εθνικού Πάρκου. Εδώ είναι η τελευταία του αναπαραγωγική αποικία στη Βαλκανική Χερσόνησο. Ο μαυρόγυπας εξαπλώνταν σε όλη την Ελλάδα, αλλά λόγω των δηλητηριασμένων δολωμάτων και της έλλειψης τροφής περιορίστηκε στα όρια του Εθνικού Πάρκου του Δάσους Δαδιάς Λευκήμη Σουφλίου. Το 1987 εδώ δημιουργήθηκε η πρώτη ταΐσρα στην Ελλάδα. Αυτό είχε ως αποτέλεσμα την αύξηση του πληθυσμού του μαυρόγυπα, αλλά και την αύξηση άλλων ειδών σπάνιων όπως του ασπροπάρη, του όρνιου, του χρυσαετού, του βασιλαετού και του θαλασσαετού. Η λειτουργία της Αίστρας όλα αυτά τα χρόνια έδωσε την ευκαιρία να αναπτυχθεί ο δασικός περιηγητισμός και η οικολογική ξενάγηση με θετικά ωφέλη στην τοπική οικονομία και απασχόληση.
The protection of vultures involves the conservation of suitable habitats and also ensures an adequate food supply as well as the active participation of the area's inhabitants who appreciate the importance of having raptors in their area. Throughout time, vultures have always benefited from the presence of humans in their search for livestock carrion. The supplementary food offered at feeding stations once a week consists of slaughterhouse remains or dead animals from livestock farms in Evros Prefecture. The numbers show that the management measures gradually implemented in Dadia since 1980 have indeed brought results. Breeding pairs of black vultures, the largest bird of prey in Europe, have increased over a period of around 30 years to 30 to 35 pairs from just 6 in 1987. Approximately 120 black vultures now spread their vast, almost 3-metre-long wings and gracefully glide in the Evros skies for hours, taking advantage of the thermals to cover enormous distances. When a black vulture detects food and flies towards the ground, the other vultures see its descent from far away and follow it. Black vultures nest on treetops, especially on black pines. Every year, breeding pairs add new branches to the same nest, which often ends up being as large as 3 meters wide and 1 meter high. Vultures lay a single egg from late February to early March, which is incubated by both parents for 50 to 55 days. The hatchling abandons the nest after approximately 3 months and is ready to reproduce after 5 to 6 years. When different species of vultures gather around a carcass, like in the National Park Supplementary Feeding Station, black vultures usually have priority. They tear the skin with their strong beaks to the benefit of the other vultures and eat the hardest parts. Their strong stomach acids allow them to even swallow small bones. The griffon vulture, another vulture species encountered in the area, started reproducing again in the national park in 2007, while approximately 100 individuals from the surrounding region visit the feeding station to feed mainly on the intestines of dead mammals. Its head and long neck are almost bare, so that it can easily dig into the carcass without getting its plumage dirty. Griffon vultures are social birds and create colonies on rocky crags. They can travel distances greater than 50 kilometers in search of food, scouring large areas from great heights, depending on the weather conditions. Squabbling is rather common when a large number of griffon vultures gather around a carcass. They show aggression by spreading their wings, stretching their necks, and lifting one leg with their talons spread out. They also often squabble with other birds that claim their share at the feeding station. Although much smaller in size, ravens and hooded crows, which are often the first to find dead animals due to their larger population, manage to win their share of the spoils from the larger birds by making a strategically organized attack on the food. The Egyptian vulture, the third and smallest vulture species living in the national park, and the only vulture that migrates to Africa every September for the winter, stays on the periphery of the feeding station and waits until the griffon vultures and black vultures have finished feeding, or tries to grab a piece and distance itself. Thanks to its narrow beak, it can feed on the remains of the meat between the bones, which cannot be reached by the other two species of vulture. With its population having suffered a drastic decline in recent years and its distribution having shrunk by 80%, the Egyptian vulture, which was once scattered all across Greece, is now threatened with extinction. In 2015, 3 pairs settled in Davia. 2 of these pairs had 3 hatchlings, which managed to grow and make their migratory journey. The Egyptian vulture also feeds on bird eggs, amphibians and reptiles, showing a greater preference for tortoises and often searches for food in landfill sites. Winters in the national park are harsh. The search for food becomes tougher, and competition in the hunt for live prey is keen. The snow lasts for days, and the need for food becomes urgent, even for species that do not usually feed on carrion. When things get tough, the supplementary feeding stations offer a solution for the survival of these and other diurnal birds of prey, most of which are now considered to be endangered. The golden eagle is one such bird. 4 golden eagle pairs breed in the national park, with an increasing trend thanks to the number of immature birds observed in the area. During its breeding season, the golden eagle feeds mainly on tortoises, which can be found in abundance in the national park. After grabbing the tortoise from the ground, it drops it from a height onto rocks in order to break. In winter, it mainly feeds on small mammals and carrion. Young eastern imperial eagles coming from northern Europe visit the wider area every winter during their migratory journey, and are often seen feeding at the supplementary feeding sites of the national park. The species has stopped breeding in the area. However, a nesting attempt in the last decade does give some hope for the future. There is better news for the white-tailed eagle, which after many years of absence returned to Davia in 2011 as a breeding species. It feeds on fish and waterfowl, as well as dead animals. It often travels to the Evros Delta at a distance of approximately 40 kilometers in search of food. Once the large raptors have finished feeding, mammals, such as the fox, arrive at the feeding station. Pecking order is strictly observed at the Davia feeding station, but it would appear that in the end all creatures get a share of the dead prey.
Στην περιοχή της Δαδιάς απαντώνται οικοσυστήματα με υψηλή αξία διατήρησης. Τα βασικότερα από αυτά είναι τα δάση τραχείας και μαύρης πεύκης και οι ψευδοστέπες με ποώδη φυτά. Τα οικοσυστήματα αυτά δημιουργούν τις κατάλληλες συνθήκες και ουσιαστικά προσφέρουν τα ενδιατήματα σε ένα μεγάλο αριθμό οργανισμών, στηρίζοντας έτσι τη διατήρηση της υψηλής βιοποικιλότητας της περιοχής.
The region's rich biodiversity is what sets it apart. Besides birds of prey, it also offers refuge to 166 other bird species, some of which are endangered, such as the black stork. More than 35 pairs of black storks nest in the national park every year, where they find suitable spots for their nests in the region's pine forests and benefit from the abundance of fish living in the lakes, rivers and streams. Hundreds of other species can also be encountered in the diverse landscape of the national park. 65 species of smaller and larger mammals have been found to live in the region permanently or occasionally. If they're lucky, visitors to the national park may come across beautiful roe deer, wild cats, or hares. Wolves and foxes live here too, undisturbed by the pursuit of humans. The small rodents abounding in the area are a basic food source for birds of prey. The same applies to many species of reptiles and amphibians. They're a favourite food not only for birds of prey, but also for storks, herons and carnivorous mammals.
Η μόνιμη παρουσία νερού στην περιοχή διαχείρισης του φορέα έχει ως συνέπεια να υπάρχει μια πάρα πολύ μεγάλη ποικιλία αμφιβίων. Αξίζει να αναφερθούν τα δύο είδη τριτώνων, ένα είδος που είναι αρκετά σπάνιο στις περισσότερες περιοχές της Ελλάδας. Ιδιαίτερη αναφορά αξίζει να γίνει στα 8 είδη υψηλής προστασίας σύμφωνα με τις οδηγίες Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης που υπάρχουν στην περιοχή. Αυτά νομίζω ότι αξίζει να τα αναφέρουμε. Είναι δύο είδη από νεροχελώνες, η ποταμοχελώνα και η νεροχελώνα. Υπάρχουν επίσης δύο φίδια, το σπιτόφιδο και ο λαφιάτης. Υπάρχουν δύο χελώνες της ξηράς, η γρεκοχελώνα και η ευρωπαϊκή χελώνα. Και τέλος δύο αμφίβια, ο μεγάλος τρίτωνας και η κυτρινοβομπίνα. Ο λαφιάτης που αναφέραμε προηγουμένως, μαζί με το σαπίτι, είναι δύο από τα πιο μεγαλόσωμα φίδια που υπάρχουν στην περιοχή, τα οποία μπορούν να ξεπεράσουν ακόμη και τα 2 μέτρα. Θα πρέπει όμως να τονίσουμε ότι σε καμία περίπτωση δεν είναι επικίνδυνα για τον άνθρωπο. Αντίθετα, υπάρχουν δύο φίδια που όντως μπορεί να αποτελέσουν κίνδυνο για τον άνθρωπο, είναι η οθωμανική οχιά και η κοινή οχιά. Από τα 10 είδη σαυρών που εξαπλώνται στην περιοχή, ιδιαίτερο ενδιαφέρον έχουν οι δύο άποδες σαύρες, το κονάκι και η φιδόσαυρα, οι οποίες στα μάτια ενός μη ειδικού μοιάζουν πάρα πολύ με ένα φίδι. Όμως πρόκειται για σαύρες οι οποίες εξελικτικά έχουν απολέσει τα άκρα τους και μοιάζουν πάρα πολύ με φίδια.
A network of low hills and valleys, traversed by seasonal streams, create the relief of the Dadia Lefkimi Soufli Forest National Park. 6 large streams cut across the area and flow into the Evros River.
Τα δάστρα χίας πέφτει